I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
왜 자꾸
I
재시작?
find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again.
안녕하세요. 방제요? 이 게임 하면 알 수 있어요. 그래서 스포일러여가지고 게임에 대한 설명이 그와 이렇게 나와 있단 말이에요. 나가봅시다. 어제도 나가긴 나갔었는데.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
이렇게.
simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
아니 너무 시키는 대로 하니까 재미가 없더라고요. 물론 도전과제 달성하려면 해야 되지만 돌아갈 수 있나?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
내 방제는 정직했다고요. 않았어.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
그대로 하기 싫은데 싫으니까.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
난 이거를 모든 명분을 붙여서 자꾸 이렇게 이 사람이 시킨 것처럼 하는 게 너무 짜증났어요. 처음에 할 때.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
다른 게
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
할 수 있는 게 없나?
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall
말하는 거야.
personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
계속 있으면 어떻게 될까요?
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
네, 없나 봐.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
이쪽에 열려있는 첫 번째 방 문으로 이거죠? 나 여기 안 들어가 본 거 나 저번에 절로 그냥 갔어.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
열리네? 들어가 봅시다. 오, 됐다.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
뭐야? 뭐야? 길이 없네. 왜? 깜짝이야.
No, not the right.
왜 그러는
Why
거야,
would I
나한테?
have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
어디야? 어디예요? 아, 여기구나. 뭐야? 맞아요? 여기서 어떻게 가나요? 계단으로 올라가는 거겠지. 없나? 어제는 엘리베이터에서 뛰어내려가지고 일로 바로 나오네?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get
안
back
되네.
to,
안 돌아가죠.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
와, 이렇게 시켜버리네. 여기서 안 나가면 뭐 있지 않을까? 없으려나? (427번)
All of his co-workers were gone.
완전 시킨 대로 다 해볼게.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
안
memo.
보고 갈 수. 왼쪽.
When Stanley... Wait.
왜?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago.
무슨 말이지?
I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure.
아, 내가 혼자 너무 빨리 진행해서 그런 거.
Let's find the story.
뭐야? 방이 원래 이렇게 많이 열렸었나? 무서워. 내가 어디로 왔는지 모르겠네? 이쪽으로 왔겠지. 이쪽에서 왔겠지. 이렇게 나왔겠지. 이쪽 방이었겠죠. 그럼 여기로 가보자. 여긴 또 어디야?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
왜 자꾸
I
재시작?
find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
와, 이거 진짜 게임 진짜 이런다니까요. 그래, 다시 달려보자.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
알았어요. 뭐야 이게?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be
아,
remembering
스토리가
this
계속
wrong.
바뀌네.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything.
그래요. 커피가 엎어졌어. 아까는
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
뭐예요? 뭐야? 나 소름 끼쳐. 어우. 뭐야? 여기 왜 이렇게
No, wait. Never mind. Not the
이상한
story.
방이네?
Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
내 방이 없어졌어. 어? 무서워. 이게 뭐예요?
Now this-
세트장이에요?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
아니, 저 아저씨가 계속 재시작 시켜서 문제 생기는 거 아니에요, 계속? 이렇게 돼 있네.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
응? 이 길 아니잖아. 여기잖아. 카드게임 하고 있어. 여기 아니잖아요. 이상한 방이 있어. 4, 2, 6. 이게 원래 이런 게임인 거죠?
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination
이상한
still a
길인데, 여기?
story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself?
저게
Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
원래 이런 게임인가? 또 이상한 길로. 뭐야? 이상한 데로 가.
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
양치 신고를 보라고? 이거?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
됐겠죠? 가자.
Wait, what? We're back at the office?
그러니까.
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
뭐야? 어? 헐, 일로 왔어.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
그냥 가면 되겠죠?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
일 바뀌었어.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
뭐야?
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
되게 목소리가 부쩍 시무룩해진 것 같은데. 안녕. 여기도 처음 보는 방이네.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think. Just walk in circles for a minute.
어떡해 귀여워.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door.
반대 방향이 옆방향?
So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
아닌 것 같은데. 많이 잘못된 것 같은데. 와.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall.
여기 써 있네.
Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
뭐야? 강제 종료 당한 건가? 소름 돋아라. 그런 것 같아.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
그 내레이터가 있는다는 그건 것 같은데 이거.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
원래 여기가 이렇게 밝았나?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
그럼 아래로 가야지.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
뭐야? 분위기가 좋네요. 뭐 안 나오겠지?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
계속 똑같은 방.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
다치네 뒤도.
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
다치죠.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
헐.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
시작인가요?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
뭐야?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career,
이상한데?
and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
뭐지? 스탠리가 죽은 건가? 다시 시작했네요.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
이번엔 진짜 시킨 대로 해볼게.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
이번엔 착하게 말을 들어보겠습니다. 어디더라? 이쪽인가? 여긴가? 화장실?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
뭐지 이거?
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
아쉽다.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
어제 어디서 뛰어내려서 죽었는지 기억이 안 나네.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
이거 그냥 어제 했던 그 스토리 똑같이.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
뭐야?
Facility.
어제도 이런 거 있었어요? 이스케이프? 무섭긴
Although
한데.
this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
가볼까 말까. 볼까 말까. 죽는데요. 가보자고. 고고. 놀래키지만 말아주세요.
The door
제발.
behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn
알바
around
아니야.
and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward.
근데 아까 그 죽은 게 스탠리 아닌가?
confront his death.
그러면은 왜 분위기 뭐야? 어? 뭐야 이거? 이거 뭐야? 뭔 거 같아. 이거 뭘까? 에잇! 그냥 끝난 거야 이렇게. 이미 뛰어내려 버렸어. 어? 뭐야? 나 살았는데?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his
뭐야
demise,
저거?
he
갑자기야?
reflected that his life had been of no consequence
오,
whatsoever.
바꿀 수
Stanley
없네.
can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss,
헐.
like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
살려주세요.
Resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
너무 담백하게 인사를 해주네. 안녕.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
이게 뭐야? 나 도대체 무슨 게임을 하고 있는 거지? 헐.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
이게 무슨...
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the
왜?
moment he hit start?
아, 크레딧이야. 뭔가 했다. 아, 여기 그 구조, 방구조. 구조네. 내 방이 여기 어디 있는 거 아니에요? 그치? 이게 내 방이지. 뭐라고 써있어요? 레이아웃이네. 네, 이렇게 나와서 이렇게 해서 여기 통과해서 이렇게 간 다음에 이 두 개 중에 골라서 가는 거였잖아. 그리고 컴퓨터 화면들이 이거였어. 그리고 문 디자인도 있다. 이거는 내 책상. 오피스 디자인. 떨어져 있는 것. 이것도 있어요. 버튼. 뭐라고 써 있는 거야? 중요하지 않은 얘기였어. 그림도 걸려 있는 거 뭐였죠? 스탠리 컴퓨터. 그래. 모르겠다. 일단 어디로 가야 되지? 왼쪽으로 갈래요. 어? 박물관 같은데? 이거 봐. 이 양치식물. 이거 디자인. 파티션. 신기한데? 도대체 뭐 하는 게임인지 모르겠네. 여기도 있어. 에잉? 이런 게 있었나? 내가 아직 못 들어간 장소가 있는 건가? 응. 이것도 뭐야? 이것도 못 본 것 같고. 뭐야 이거? 여기도 못 본 데인 것 같아요. 이것도 뭔지 이거 사장실에 있는 것 같은데. 나 여기 어디야? 길을 잃었어. 옵션별로 갈 수 있는 길. 내가 지금 길을 잃었는데 어떡하지? 이건 뭐지? 이런 것도 있었나? 거의 반은 처음 보는 거고. 이것도 뭐야? 어디로 가요? 여기 있다.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
나레이터랑 스탠리 얘기하는 거겠죠?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat
어떻게 해야
this
돼?
game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
나가게 해야 되나? 아씨, 흔들리는데. 아니야. 갈 때까지 가보겠어.
Choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time.
이 게임 생각한 것보다 좀 더 약간 딥한 느낌인데. 이거 뭐 아무것도 안 돼요. 뭐야? 끝난 거야? 나 죽은 거야? 약간 계속 해도 되나 싶은.
All of his co-workers were
너 이렇게 소름 끼치냐 이제?
What did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Okay.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. What
맞아?
could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he
너무해.
relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
갈게요. 뭐 어떻겠더라? 그냥 했지 뭐. 여기서
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large
그래,
door
여기로 안
that read
갔고
mind control facility.
일로 가서 원래 이거였나?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
스크린 저 가야 켜지죠? 이건가?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
중간에 무슨 과정이 아니구나. 이제 그거구나.
Mind control facility. It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
427번 저기다.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
됐나요?
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? He was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or
여기였지?
content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
저
As the
버튼은 무슨
cold
의미인지
reality of his
모르겠어.
past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human
나 어제
life.
뭐 했지? 오프.
For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
오프 눌렀던 것 같아. 껐던 것 같아. 해제하라 그랬어. 그럼 오늘 해볼까? 되나요?
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the
자폭전.
network's emergency detonation system. In
네?
the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA
아, 이거
identification,
스토리 좀 이상한데?
nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But
말
what
진짜 많아.
precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that?
오,
You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra
아니 왜 자꾸 시간을 주는 거야?
These are precious additional seconds.
뭐 왜 주는 거야?
Doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter? matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea?
아니 그냥 자기가 말하려고 시간 더 준 것 같은데 이 사람.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
알겠어요.
You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're
아니 그렇지 않아요 전혀.
to see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley.
알았어.
30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
드디어 끝났어. 더 볼까요? 잠깐. 알아서 시작되네.